Hey everybody, my name is Kirsten. I am an advisor in the Academic Advising Office at OTC, and I have a very special person with me today. So Donna, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am Donna Redman. I'm a full-time Missouri State employee that works on OTC's campus, and my role is to assist students from their first semester to their last with a successful and efficient transfer to Missouri State. I've been with the university for many, many years. I'm very fortunate and blessed to be an employee for Missouri State on OTC's campus. We have a fantastic partnership. My office at Missouri State is the Academic Advising and Transfer Center. And if you are considering Missouri State, I'm your gal.
Yes, we love you so much, and we're so thankful to have you on campus. So basically what Donna and I are doing today is we're just going to have a very casual conversation, just talking about some different questions that students have asked about the transfer process, what that looks like, what different things they need to know to help them be prepared, and things like that. So hopefully you hear some helpful information that kind of eases any stress you might be having or just helps you know kind of what to expect in that process. So we'll just kind of get started. So as everyone knows, we have a lot of students who come to OTC who plan to transfer to Missouri State or other institutions once they finish up here. So Donna, when is a good time for those students to start thinking about the transfer process and just different things that they need to know just to kind of get the whole process started?
Sure. So a lot of students think, oh, I don't need to think about transferring till I'm almost finished with my education at OTC, and that's fine, but for the most successful transfer experience, conversations from your first semester on really pave the way for a successful transfer. OTC offers a lot of different opportunities with degrees and courses that you can take in those degrees, and it's just really important to establish a working relationship with the MSU advisors to talk about your end goal, the most appropriate OTC degree to complete before you transfer to that Missouri State major, and then identifying specific classes that you can take on OTC's campus that will not only help meet OTC degree requirements, but also meet requirements for your intended MSU major.
Very nice. So kind of talking about majors, there is a lot, especially at a university like Missouri State. So if students are maybe in the place where they're unsure about what path they want to pursue or what they want to do once they do make that transfer, what are some good resources or events or anything like that that they have access to at Missouri State just to kind of help them learn what all is offered to them and maybe to spark that interest to see like, hey, I think I kind of want to pursue that. What kind of opportunities do they have?
Sure. So first of all, OTC has a lot of wonderful resources and people available for OTC students. Your advisors, we partner so great with the OTC advisors, and also the Career Center at OTC. They are there for OTC students who are exploring different majors or not quite sure what things are available to them, or just really would like to further identify their strengths and weaknesses with possible career outcomes. So the first thing I would suggest is reaching out to OTC's Career Services and the wonderful folks that work in that office. They will ask that the students complete the Focus 2 online exam, and then you'll utilize that tool to help identify their strengths, their passions, and different possible careers based off of that information. In addition to that, Missouri State every fall in the middle of September offers a career fair, or a majors fair is what I should call it. It's the majors fair in the middle of September, and that is, it's kind of like Halloween for college kids. It is where everyone at Missouri State, all of our departments and majors are represented, and all of our orientation courses, our first-time students, freshmen, head to an orientation class. They're all required to attend, but a lot of upperclassmen attend as well. It's an opportunity for students just to walk around in a non-threatening, open, friendly environment to talk with advisors and faculty and staff in those majors and minors to learn a little bit more about what can I do with this major? What is the outcome when I graduate? What does it look like for me? And get those questions answered early on in your OTC education to help plan then your coursework tailored off of what your end goal would be. And so we would love for OTC students to join us at that majors fair. You don't have to RSVP, you just come and show up. It's in Missouri State's Plaster Student Union in the ballroom. There'll be some media, social blitzes going out there, so keep an eye out for that. But we would love for you to join us and learn more about all the different things that you could major in.
Yeah, I actually attended the Majors Fair at Missouri State this past fall, and it was amazing. There were so many departments that were represented, if not all of them, but each department was so wonderful at just giving students any information they could ever want to know as far as outcomes and careers and just kind of what the students can expect from those programs. I learned so much, and I'm not even a college student anymore, but it was definitely something that I would have loved to have had access to when I was in college. So I definitely think it's a great opportunity for students, no matter where they are in their college journey yet. So definitely check it out.
Sure, and a lot of the graduate programs are represented as well. So if you are thinking, hey, after my bachelor's degree, I would really love to go on for a master's or a doctorate, those programs are represented as well. So it's never too early to start planning for that future too.
That is so true, so true. So yeah, there are a lot of great resources out there. I think it's just about taking that initiative to seek those opportunities out to get the information that students are wanting and needing. So it's really, really exciting. Let me think about okay, so in our office, a lot of times we hear students come in that are like, so I'm just here, I'm going to take a few gen eds, and then I'm going to go ahead and transfer. In your opinion, Donna, is it better for a student to come in, take some of those gen ed classes, and then transfer? Or do you think that it's more beneficial for them to come in, get that full associate's degree, and then decide to make that transfer?
Yeah, I'm an advocate for completing your associate's degree prior to transferring. There are only a handful or so majors at Missouri State that it would be important to transfer before completing a degree, and that's only based off of course sequencing. But in all reality, the majority of Missouri State majors, it is just great to stay at OTC and complete that associate's degree prior to transferring.
Right.
Studies show that students that complete an associate's before transferring are more likely to complete their bachelor's degree. And so we just really want you to be successful in your academic endeavors and to complete that associate's degree before transferring. Again, it's just careful planning and communicating to know in your options of your math and your humanities, your natural sciences, your social sciences, your electives, your core electives and institutional electives. When you have all those options to take, you want to make sure you're choosing the most appropriate classes that will work at both institutions, but definitely complete that associate's degree prior to transferring.
Absolutely. And that is another really good reason why it's important to start those conversations with Missouri State or another institution early on. That way you can get assistance with that course planning to make sure that you're taking the classes that you're going to need that are going to transfer and count towards your program later on. That way you don't transfer and have to end up taking more classes than you would necessarily need to if you had talked to those people. So it's always good to really get those conversations started early, just to make sure you're on the right track and everything's staying good and everything like that. Oh, something else I was going to mention is we had talked about this earlier. So some students come to OTC and pursue a technical degree, so they're in the tech ed programs. And something that we had discussed is sometimes those students aren't really sure if they do want to go on to a university down the line. So something for those students to maybe keep in mind, especially for the math section of their degree. Sometimes it's a good idea to think about taking a higher level math, such as Math 130 or college algebra, instead of the Math 105 or 108, the technical math that is the requirement for that degree program, because by taking the higher level math, it's going to put you in a better position to be prepared to transfer if that's something that you think that you might like to do down the road. So again, reaching out to that institution, just letting them know maybe what your plans are and getting their advice on that. But different classes like that are something to kind of be mindful when planning your degree and looking at future decisions and things like that.
I'm always appreciative of our technical students because it's such a great need within our community.
Yeah.
Yes, if there is ever a hint of the future of maybe pursuing a bachelor's degree through a university, when they have the option for math, I would definitely encourage them to consider taking either contemporary math or college algebra in order to complete that section of their AAS degree. And just because if it's 20 years down the road and they think, you know, I'm going to head back for my bachelor's degree, that math class is still going to count.
Yeah.
Whereas if they take technical math, then when they return later on for a bachelor's degree, they would need to take a different math class. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, definitely. So OTC, a lot of times you will hear it referred to as a 2-year school, or our associate's degrees are 2-year programs, which is not always the case. Sometimes students aren't able to take a huge amount of credit hours per semester because of, you know, personal obligations and work and different things like that. And so what would you say the time frame for finishing a bachelor's degree at Missouri State once you transfer? What does that look like? Or how many credit hours should a student shoot for if there is a certain amount when looking at planning classes and things like that?
Well, I would say it's dependent on each individual student. So there are some students that they know exactly what they want from the get-go. They don't have any outside commitments or as demanding of commitments. They're able to take 15 hours or so a semester, and by doing so, they graduate from OTC in 2 years. They graduate from Missouri State in 2 years. They have their bachelor's degree within a 4-year time frame. For other students, they have life outside of school and a lot of time commitments. So, you know, I am not trained in financial aid. I am not the expert in A+, and there's some great folks at OTC that can help you out with all of that. But I do know you need to be a full-time student for both. And so full-time is 12 credit hours or more to be a full-time student for A+ and financial aid. And as a student taking 12 credit hours a semester instead of 15 hours, it's going to take you a little bit longer to graduate if you're doing a reduced course load, unless if you pick up some hours during the summers. And so just know that when you get to Missouri State, if you continue that pattern of reduced hours, not a problem, but if you do, it's going to take a little bit longer to graduate instead of the 2 and 2 at each school.
Yeah, and I know a lot of students sometimes are hard on themselves if they're not able to finish in a certain amount of time. But really, the ultimate goal is to be successful in your program and to get your degree. That really is the ultimate goal. It doesn't really matter how long it takes you. It just matters that you're enjoying the process and being successful throughout. So don't be too hard on yourselves. Just, you got to, you know, find the right balance for you, and it'll all be good. It'll all be good.
I'm an advocate for going a little bit at a slower pace, taking a little bit longer, getting the grades that you need and experience outside of school to combine with that, than rushing through it and having your grades suffer. There are a lot of scholarship opportunities for our transfer students, and so the grades, what you receive, matters from the get-go. And so I know with A+, students have a certain number of hours and a time frame to complete A+ in. I think a lot of high school counselors out there, the message is, oh, you have 2 years to complete your A+, and that's not accurate. You actually have a certain number of credit hours. I believe it's 65 hours in a certain time frame, which I believe is 48 months. And so you have time to complete your degree utilizing your A+ in particular, as long as you're taking 12 hours or more. And the great thing is a lot of students come in with dual credit work. So they took high school college courses while they were in high school. And while those high school dual credit courses apply towards your OTC degree, they'll apply towards your Missouri State degree, they don't apply towards the credit hours for A+. So when you have 65 hours that A+ will cover, that does not include those high school dual credit courses. So you're starting out at 0 hours your first OTC semester to work towards the hours that are needed, which is nice, especially if you're still deciding on what you want and you have a whole lot of hours under your belt from dual credit. It buys you a little bit of time to take some exploratory classes in different fields to then narrow down your choice.
That is really nice because a lot of students, they don't know exactly what they want to do coming right out of high school. So it's nice if they have a little bit of leeway there. That's really good information to know. And so I guess we'll kind of stay on the same topic of financial aid. You had mentioned scholarship opportunities at Missouri State, and I know at OTC, financial aid is such a big thing for all students. You know, it's a really has an impact on their education. So what kind of scholarship opportunities does Missouri State offer for transfer students?
Yeah, so we've expanded, I'm excited to say, Missouri State's expanded scholarships for transfer students, and there are several great opportunities. Like I mentioned before, your grades matter from the get-go, so everything that you're doing counts towards those scholarship requirements. But one thing to keep in mind is that high school dual enrollment coursework, again, while it transfers and applies towards your major at Missouri State, those dual credit hours are not, the GPA from those hours are not calculated into the GPA for scholarship purposes. So when you get ready to transfer and you're looking at transfer scholarships, the GPA that is used will only be the classes that are earned after high school graduation. So keep that in mind. So you're starting out with a clean slate after you've graduated from high school, moving into OTC for your GPA for scholarship purposes. That being said, Missouri State offers several automatic scholarships. You don't do anything to get the scholarships, but apply to the university and have your transcript sent based off of your academic accomplishments while you're at OTC. So the first is the Transfer Academic Scholarship. And the Transfer Academic Scholarship, as long as you are transferring with more than 24 hours of transferable credit completed after high school graduation, which when you complete your associate's degree, you will have, obviously.
Yes.
And your GPA is a 3.25 or higher, you will automatically receive $1,500 a year. Meet that GPA requirement, and it's also renewable for 2 additional years, again because we know not every student can take 15 hours a semester and graduate in a 2-year time frame. Many do, but if it takes you a little bit longer, that scholarship is able to extend 2 additional years when you're at Missouri State.
That's nice.
And then one of our scholarships that I'm most excited about is when you do complete your associate's degree, no matter what associate's it is, if your GPA is a 3.5 or higher, you will automatically receive $2,500 a year to attend Missouri State. And that also is renewable for 2 more years. And in combination with that, OTC has a wonderful organization. It's called Phi Theta Kappa, PTK. And PTK is an honor organization at the community college level, and OTC, their PTK organization is recognized nationally. It's an amazing chapter with great folks that run it and are part of it. And OTC just provides such a great service for their students that they actually pay the membership fee for every OTC student that qualifies for PTK. So if you are a 3.5 or higher GPA on your college courses, that's the requirement to be part of PTK. Definitely check into that because there is a PTK scholarship that Missouri State provides. It's in addition to that Transfer Excellence Scholarship. There is an application form for it. It's basically your contact information, and the OTC advisor will sign off on it that you've been an active member. But that can be combined, and that's a $500 scholarship. So if you're combining the $500 with the $2,500 Transfer Excellence Scholarship, you're looking at $3,000 per year, also renewable for 2 additional years to attend Missouri State. That's almost a full semester's worth of tuition paid for by being a high-achieving student. So we're just thrilled to offer that. There's some donor scholarships, departmental scholarships that we offer as well. When you get ready to transfer, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then if you're able to acquire any outside scholarships, that's money on top of what Missouri State is providing for you. We never remove scholarship dollars. When we say you're going to receive those scholarships, you're going to receive them. And if you have outside scholarships that you're earning, that's just on top of what Missouri State is giving you.
Oh, that's amazing. There are some really great opportunities for students, and hopefully that's a little bit of an incentive to work really hard in your classes and keep your GPA up, because it would be amazing to be able to come into Missouri State with having your whole semester paid for. That would be a dream for sure. That's awesome. So I know at the beginning of the video, we talked a little bit about different resources that are offered at OTC, such as career services and, different areas like that. What can a student expect who's transferring to Missouri State? What can they expect to get as far as resources? Is there career services? What kind of different resources and support do they have at the university?
So actually, OTC students have the opportunity to utilize some of our resources while they're attending OTC. So one of the things that an OTC student can take advantage of is our library. And I know that OTC has a library with great people that work inside of that library and are wonderful sources of information. The Missouri State's library is a little bit bigger with a little bit more resources than OTC offers. And so as an OTC student with your ID, you're able to utilize Missouri State's library for free. And really almost every class at OTC that you'll take will have a research component to it or a paper component to it, writing component. Okay. So it's important to be able to familiarize yourself and utilize those resources. In addition to that, with your OTC student ID, you are able to attend Missouri State's athletic events for half off on the cost of admission. So you just show your ID and the ticket price is half off. So if you're interested in checking out our new football coach and the football program or basketball or baseball or track or any of the soccer, any of those sports, we would love to have you join us. And then as far as when you transfer to Missouri State, there are a lot of resources available for you. There's a writing center, a math lab, tutoring, the Bear Claw available for you, as well as the Career Center. So just like OTC's Career Center, Missouri State offers assistance on identifying possible employment careers, professions based off of your talents, your gifts, your abilities, your passions. They're also available for you on developing your resume, interview skills. They bring thousands of employers to campus to interview our students. We have a very extensive alumni everywhere. So you're going to receive, if you want, like with our education department, we're very well known for education. And so, there's a whole bear in every building, which is really Missouri State for education anyway. 1 out of every 8 educators are a Missouri State grad. So if you're wanting connections outside of, your college career, when you're going to look for those employment opportunities, you're going to have a lot of connections through Missouri State. So that's exciting to offer you.
I love that. And because a lot of times with a university, especially the size of Missouri State, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, there's not going to be anyone to talk to or to reach out to or who's going to help me. But it's really great to know that there are so many resources to support students and help them be successful, not only during their time on campus, but even after they graduate. And it's nice to feel like you have that family or that connection to the university, and knowing that there's offices full of people who want to be there for you to support you throughout your journey. So I really like hearing that. That's awesome.
It really is. There's a lot of, Missouri State's a large place.
Mm-hmm.
It is. But there are a lot of benefits and positive attributes with being a large university. But the thing that I think most students don't recognize or realize is that the large classrooms that people experience are really in the general education coursework, which is what you're doing at OTC. You're getting that out of the way at OTC. So when you get to Missouri State and you're in your major, your class sizes are going to be comparable to what you're experiencing at OTC. And so, and your classes are going to be pretty much in one building. So the reality is you're probably going to be parking 1, 2, 3 buildings away from where you're at in the parking lot. You're heading to campus, you're walking to that classroom building, which is where all of your classes are pretty much going to be housed. And so it's all a central location once you get to Missouri State. You talked about opportunities as a student at OTC, and I forgot to mention that if you'd like to check out campus at all, we're certainly happy to give you a tour of campus.
Yeah.
We offer tours every day during the work week, but there are some special opportunities for transfer students. There's a transfer VIP day And that allows transfer students to come and sit in on an information presentation specifically for transfer students, so you're not sitting in the presentation where there's high school sophomores and juniors and seniors that are there. It's specifically for transfer students. A tour of the campus, you're meeting the faculty and department heads, eating lunch with them and current transfer students and current students through those departments, just to establish connections and get to know some people. So there's opportunities with that as well that I would love for you to check out.
Yeah, so for that transfer specific day, would you encourage students who are earlier in the process to attend that, or is it geared more towards students who are, pretty close to making that transfer, or does it really matter where they are in their journey yet?
It's for both.
Okay.
So so it's kind of like the Majors Fair is for both. It's for students to learn a little bit more about the program, requirements, opportunities, to really get in depth of what it takes to see if that matches what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Or if you learn about that program a little bit more in depth and you're like, oh, that is not what I thought it was going to be. So yeah, it definitely would be advantageous to do it early on as well.
That is really good. I really like that. I hope a lot of students access that, because I think it would be so beneficial for so many students. So kind of on the same wavelength as that, for students who are getting towards the end of their career at OTC, when is a good time for them to start applying to Missouri State?
Sure. So there's a lot of advantages of applying early to the university. We actually admit students all the way through the first week of classes, but I am never a fan of waiting to the last minute. I'm definitely a fan of doing it way sooner than needed. And so, for example, a student that would be transferring in a spring semester, I would encourage the student to apply by the first part of August. And for a student that's transferring for summer or fall, I would encourage them to apply by the end of December of the previous year. I will be your gal. I'll walk you through the whole admission process, provide dates and deadlines to put in your phone as reminders, and just make it as easy and smooth as possible. There is no application fee to Missouri State, so it doesn't cost you anything to apply at this time. But yeah, I'll give you a checklist. We'll walk you through everything that's required and make it just as easy as possible.
Very nice. See, that's why it's so beneficial to get in touch with Donna, learn all of her knowledge. That way you're just really prepared and you're filling in all of the gaps that might come along in the transfer process. And I've worked with her a lot with many different students, and she's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful resource. She's very knowledgeable, very nice, as you can see. So I would just encourage anyone who's maybe even just considering transferring to Missouri State to reach out to her and just to get that conversation started, because I think you'll learn a lot and you'll get a lot of really helpful information and guidance from her. So I think she's wonderful. So Donna, how can students get into contact with you? I know right now things are a little bit strange and, not normal, but are students still able to meet with you and get appointments and things like that?
Absolutely. And so the best way to reach me is by email to my Missouri State email. It's Donna Rebmann, DONNA REB as in boy, MANN @MissouriState.edu, and Missouri State's all spelled out. I also offer Zoom appointments, and so when we start that initial conversation, we can schedule a Zoom appointment as well to make that happen, because sometimes it's just easier to communicate face-to-face than it is via email.
It is. And if any students are interested in getting connected with Donna, but maybe you're not sure how to go about it, or you're just a little bit nervous throughout the process, you are always welcome to reach out to us at Academic Advising First, and we'll be happy to get you connected with Donna and help that conversation get started. So no matter where you are in the process, just make sure and ask questions. I think that's really important. And don't hesitate. Don't wait to get help or advice or that guidance you need. We're all really happy and eager to help you guys. So yeah, we're here for you if you need us. So Donna, thanks so much for joining me for this little chat. I think we've provided a lot of great information, hopefully to get students' wheels start turning, and I'm sure we'll probably hear from several pretty soon, especially with registration coming up. But
well, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm just thankful that the Advising Center at OTC and faculty and staff provide a resource with me being there and get us connected. That's just really important. And likewise, after I assist, I always connect students to the MSU advisor in that department as well. So it's a really good partnership there. But I do believe that OTC is a great place to start your education. I believe that Missouri State's a wonderful place to complete your bachelor's degree and move on to a master's if that's what you desire. And I would be just thrilled to help you reach your goals. It's just really honestly a privilege to be part of your educational journey and to help you achieve all that you wish to achieve. So yeah, please reach out. I'm happy to help.
yeah. Well, that's all that we have for you guys today. So like we said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the advising department or Donna directly, and we'll be really happy to help you. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Bye.